Now, I want to read to you from Proverbs 7 in the Septuagint. And this is related to death and the devil and deception. Just relax and listen. My son, keep my words, and hide with thee my commandments. My son, honor the Lord, and thou shalt be strong and fear none but him. Keep my commandments, and thou shalt live. And keep my words as the pupils of thine eyes, and bind them on thy fingers, and write them on the table of thine heart. Say that wisdom is your sister, and gain prudence as an acquaintance for yourself, that she may keep you from the strange and wicked woman, if she should assail you with flattering words. You know, when some woman you don't know is starting to flatter you and tell you how cool you are. For she looks from a window out of her house into the streets, at one whom she may see of the senseless ones, a young man void of understanding. They look for a younger man who doesn't have his feet about him yet. Passing by the corner in the passages near her house, and speaking in the dark of the evening, when there happens to be the stillness of night and of darkness. And the woman meets him having the appearance of a harlot, and causes the hearts of young men to flutter. What's the appearance of a harlot? Showing cleavage, showing her shoulders, wearing some lipstick, maybe some eyeshadow, mascara, maybe doing her hair in braids, wearing a short skirt above her knee, or wearing shorts that even pull up and show her cheeks. There are many ways, doing her nails up. Yeah? There are many ways that a woman can look like a harlot and causes the hearts of young men to flutter. And she is fickle and debauched, and her feet abide not at home. She's unable to stay at home. Think of the woman who needs to go out to the club, go to the party, be everywhere she can except at home. For at one time she wanders without, and at another time she lies in wait in the streets at every corner, trying to catch a man off guard. Then she caught him and kissed him, and with an impudent face said to him, I have a peace offering. Today I pay my vows. Therefore I came forth to meet thee, desiring your face, and I have found you. I've been thinking of you. I had to come out to do this other thing, but I've been thinking of you, and I found you. I have spread my bed with sheets, and I have covered it with double tapestry from Egypt, some special fabric, so it's soft and elegant. I have sprinkled my couch with saffron, and my house with cinnamon, fragrances. Come and let us enjoy love until the morning. Come and let us embrace in love. For my husband is not at home, but is gone on a long journey, a business trip, yes? So she's married, and she's trying to get some on the side while her husband's out of town. And you didn't even know it. For my husband is not at home, but is gone on a long journey. Having taken in his hand a bundle of money, after many days he will return to his house. So with much converse she prevailed on him to go astray, and with the snares of her lips forced him from the right path. With the snares of her lips forced him from the right path. And he followed her, being gently led on and that as an ox is led to the slaughter, and as a dog to bonds, or as a hart, that's a deer, shot in the liver with an arrow, which is a deadly shot. Do you know how they kill ox? Or they killed ox? They would take a sledgehammer and they would hit it right here between the eyes, right here in the skull. Fracture the skull, it dies like that. Bloody mess, man. It takes a lot of strength too. This young man is being gently led on as an ox is led to getting hit right here with a sledgehammer and killed instantly. And he hastens as a bird into a snare, not knowing that he is running for his life. Now then, my son, listen to me, hearken to me, and attend to the words of my mouth. Do not let your heart turn aside to her ways, for she has wounded and cast down many, and those whom she has slain are innumerable. Her house is the way of hell, leading down to the chambers of death. One of the many ways that you can be led down into the chambers of death. That's the entire chapter of Proverbs 7 in the Septuagint. Now, let's talk about what that means for you today as a Christian. The apostate church. You're part of the apostate church if you go to most of the churches in America, most of the churches. They are apostate. Jesus is not there. He is not there. And she is there, flattering you. I went to Greg Laurie's church, Harvest, there in Riverside. I was back there a few years ago, and I happened to be very close to the church at the time, and I thought, well, I've never gone to his church, let's go have a look at how it goes, right? And so I went on over there and sat down. It was an auditorium with no windows, and it was like an auditorium where, you had your seats up here and going down to the stage. Not the other way around where the stage is up, but down to the stage, all right? And so I'm sitting there, and girl after girl is walking in with shorts, every one of them, so short that their butt cheeks are hanging out under their shorts, from out of their shorts. And in the front, they're wearing a shirt that's cut down so low, it's surprising that their breasts, any of their breasts, could stay in their shirt. Wearing so much makeup. This is the state of that church. And no one said a word to these women. No one said a word to them. No one explained to them Proverbs 7. And yet that's what they were doing. They're trying to catch men that way. And that's in a church. Then the lights went out. And they had spotlight red and purple, which are the two colors of the harlot of Babylon. If you look at it. And then smoke started coming out, like from the abyss. Then they started playing the really heavy rock music as if it's worship. Worshiping who? At this point, you've got to ask your question. Who are you worshiping? You're saying Jesus, but you must mean a different Jesus. Because it's not the Jesus here. And if you ask anyone there, do you still sin or did you stop sinning? They'll laugh at you and they'll say, well, no one can stop sinning as long as they're in the body or in the flesh or alive. Which means they do not know Jesus. Right? I'll read it to you again. I read it to you often. And it says here, he who says, I know him, and does not keep his commandments is a liar, and the truth is not in him. His commandments, not commandment. Some say, oh yeah, that's about believing in Jesus. That's the commandment of God. It does say that, but that's not the only commandment. That is a commandment of God, but that's not the only commandment. And Jesus, in fact, said that the law and the prophets all hang on two other commandments, not that. Not believing in Jesus. Jesus didn't say that. Jesus said that all those commandments in the law and the prophets hinge on loving God with all your heart, soul, mind, and strength. That's not believing in Jesus. That's different. They are vaguely related, but they're not the same. And loving your neighbor as yourself. And he said that those two are very similar, and that's what all the law and the prophets hang on. He said those are the greatest commandments. Oh, really? So that means that believing in Jesus is not the greatest commandment. It doesn't mean we shouldn't believe in Jesus. We absolutely have to believe in Jesus. But it's not one of the two greatest commandments. Jesus himself taught that. And if you want to argue with me, you're arguing against Jesus. You understand? Because Jesus directly says that. So we're talking about the church, the apostate churches who try to seduce you. They try to seduce you while their husband is away. And they're using flattery, and they're using the tricks of a whore. They really are. And they're trying to seduce you, seduce you, seduce you. Listen to the music they play. Look at the history of how they got to that point of using that music. Because they wanted to seduce more people. It's exactly what they said. Now, they didn't use the word seduce, of course, because they know that's wrong. But what they described is seduction. That's right. We want to appeal to more people. We want to appeal to people who are not churchgoers. We want to appeal to these people. This is seduction. It's a polite word for seduction. And her house leads down to the chambers of death. And the same is true with the apostate churches. None of this is metaphor. Death is not a metaphor. It's not a personification. The devil is not a metaphor or a personification. These are actual spiritual beings. They're actively at work trying to deceive you in order to get you to give in and go down into the chambers of death. If you judge the teachings of a church based on how comfortable you are with them, then you want to be deceived. You do not have a love for the truth, because the truth is often uncomfortable. It doesn't make you comfortable. The truth makes you uncomfortable because you need it. If you look around and you say, oh, all my friends are going to this church, so it must be okay because I like these guys and they're okay. They're right on, with what they have to say. Then you're going there based on popularity. Jesus had something to say about that too. You know that. Turn to Matthew. Enter by the narrow gate, for wide is the gate, and broad is the way that leads to destruction, and there are many who go in by it. The popular way leads to hell. That's what Jesus just said. If you go the popular way, you will go to hell. One way that Satan will get you to deceive you is by flattering you. A lot of young men get started off wrong in Christianity when they come to know Jesus, if they come to know Jesus. They then discover apologetics and they think, oh, I can be a defender of the faith. I can be a soldier, I can be a warrior defending the faith because I'm smart. And I can see these things. And so then they start in doing apologetics. But apologetics is Greek philosophy smuggled into the church. And Paul condemns that in 1 Corinthians in the very beginning. He says it is an enemy of the message of the cross. And that God makes fools of those who think they're wise through philosophy, even through the Christian philosophy. if there is such a thing. There isn't. Greek philosophy smuggled in is still Greek philosophy, even if it's wearing Christian garb. You are still a philosopher of this age and condemned as an enemy of the cross of Jesus. And you're doing great harm to the church. You should be ashamed of yourself. All right, we're almost there. 2 Timothy. You probably know what I'm going to read now too, don't you? Four, verse 3. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires, what's comfortable, because they have itching ears, they're running around wanting to hear the latest thing they've never heard before, adding to what they know, and piling this up so their head's so big they fall over. Remember what I told you? That's itching ears. But according to their own desires, because they have itching ears, they will heap up for themselves teachers. That's what you're doing on YouTube. You go around, you say, oh, I've never heard that guy before. You click on it, you go, oh, that's interesting. I never knew that. And so you subscribe and you add him to all your teachers you're heaping up. Paul condemns that. Paul condemns heaping up teachers. I've told you this before. I've said, stay away from all of these teachers. You found one who is teaching from the scriptures correctly, deeply, and so that in every video, you're getting something that is giving you a stronger maturity. Not itching your ears. You're hearing in repetition over and over some of these things so that you get them in you and they become part of you and you're living it. And as I say to men that I talk to on the phone, who are subscribers who want to view the videos, like all of them, I say, no, don't gorge on them. Just watch a video and then try to do what it says. When you're doing what it says, then you can watch the next video. But don't go heaping up video after video after video, because you will get a puffed up head thinking you've achieved something spiritually that you have not achieved. For the time will come when they will not endure sound doctrine, but according to their own desires, because they have itching ears, wanting to add teaching after teaching, they will heap up for themselves teachers, teacher after teacher, and they will turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to fables. You'll stop listening to me on this channel. If you do that, you will stop listening to me on this channel, because you will not tolerate the truth. That's right. You're saturating yourself with lies from so many different voices that you will stop listening to the truth. That's what Paul just said. It says they will heap up for themselves teachers, and they will turn their ears away from the truth and be turned aside to fables. Next one, Isaiah 5:20. Woe to them that call evil good and good evil, who make darkness light and light darkness, who make bitter sweet and sweet bitter. Woe to them that are wise in their own conceit, pride, and knowing in their own sight. That's what I just described, which describes so many Christians on YouTube. They are so knowing in their own sight. They're so wise in their own pride that no one else knows like I know. I can't depend on anyone else knowing. Or even if they do know now, who knows, maybe in a month they're going to fall. Maybe they're going to turn to lies. Maybe they're going to start teaching lies, and I can't depend on them. Can you depend on yourself to not do that? If you think that someone who's a leader, who's much older than you in the Lord and gone through much more than you, might fall, then what hope do you have? Oh, you think you're pure as the driven snow, don't you? And that no one else is. That's what Isaiah just said. It's what he just said that I read to you. Woe to them that are wise in their own pride and knowing in their own sight. That's what he said. Woe to them. One more, then we're done. Revelation chapter 2, verse 20. Nevertheless, I have a few things against you, because you allow that woman Jezebel, who calls herself a prophetess, to teach and seduce my servants to commit sexual immorality and eat things sacrificed to idols. Now hold on a minute. Jesus calls them his servants. These aren't people who just call themselves Christians but really aren't. And yet they're sinning. And they're being seduced by a false teacher into committing sexual immorality and idolatry. You think you can't fall? Think again. But you're not going to fall by any way except deception. And that perhaps through flattery, where you think you're so smart. That's not the way. That's not the way I took to get to where I am today with Christ. It's the way of humility. It's the way of coming before him every day and literally, physically getting on your face, really, literally, your face to the ground, your hands out and saying, Lord, I am nothing. I am nothing. And repeat it, because you're not sincere enough. Confess it and confess it and confess it. And ask God to help you with your heart, to break your heart so it can be purified. Let him do that work in you. Don't let death and the devil, as working buddies, deceive you to go down into the chambers of death. Go with Jesus. Is narrow, yes, is difficult, but it's not as heavy as ending up in the lake of burning sulfur, where you'll never get out. May the Lord bless you as you seek him with all your heart.